Hello guys, I'm Ricardo Esteves. I'm the Portuguese editor for Gamereactor, and I'm here today to talk about my 5 favorite games of 2016. I say favorite because it's not really a game of the year list, but my personal best 5 personal favorite games I played this year. And I'm going to start off with Inside. I was a fan of Limbo, the previous game from these guys. I think they really stepped it up a notch with Inside. I think the game is phenomenally designed. Um, it really gives out a correct way of passing the story along to the player by showing it, by having the player play it or see it in action instead of having the player read it or just plain watching in a cutscene. You are actually discovering this world and what's going on by watching it right play out right in front of your eyes. I think that's brilliant design. The game is, at least the version I played on PS4, was super fluid, was really optimized, really polished, with great platforming, great puzzles. I never got stuck. It's always very frustrating when you're playing a puzzle game and you get just stuck on some stupid platforming or puzzle you can get past to, but it was the right amount of difficulty. Took a few minutes to figure stuff out, but nothing that was frustrating at all. And that's hard to accomplish. It's something it requires a lot of time, a lot of testing, and it's great these guys took that time. So yeah, Inside, it's my favorite, my 5th favorite game of the year. My number 4th game of the year, it's completely different. It's Doom, and it was kind of a surprise to me. Not only I was not expecting Doom to be this good, I was not expecting it to pull me so much. I'm not really a big first-person shooter fan, so when I started playing Doom, I was surprised by how much I was having fun and enjoying it, and being pulled to continue. And I actually finished the campaign on hard. I think it really successfully recreated the adrenaline and the action we used to get from ancient first-person shooters like Doom itself, but also Quake and Real Tournament when it had a campaign. And it combined all that with some modern game design, with evolution. You can customize your weapons. The levels are big and have several collectibles you can find, and I really love that. I think the game has excellent design. It runs super smoothly at 60 frames per second, or at least it seems so. I'm not counting. Great graphics, great action. I love Doom. Great game, great surprise, and awesome soundtrack. Just perfect. As soon as I start hearing it, just feel like putting a shotgun through a demon's mouth and and blowing it up. Moving on to number 3, it's Dishonored 2. I was a fan of the first Dishonored. I finished it. Perhaps not as much as some other people who really loved Dishonored, but I actually enjoyed the sequel more. I played with Emily. I think Emily is a far more interesting character than Corvo, the first game's protagonist. And I love the design. I mean, I chose something I don't think most people will choose, because I chose to play the game firstly on hard. Secondly, I chose to play it without powers. I didn't accept the Outsiders offer, so I played without powers, and I was amazed by how good it still played, even without the powers. Everything or almost everything in the game, in the levels, like collectibles, the talismans, etc. I could get everything without powers, without blinking. Yeah, sometimes I need to look a bit more to find a different path, but it is there. If you look, you will find some way to get to anywhere you want to go without having to use powers, and that's just great. And it also works in combat, because without powers, of course, I invested mostly on the crossbow and bombs and traps, and that worked awesome. I just loved playing Dishonored 2 without powers. And besides all that, I mean, the game world, it's amazing. It's beautifully designed. The new city is awesome to visit, and there are some levels in there that are really memorable, and whoever plays Dishonored 2 will perhaps remember them for a while. So I know the game has some issues. I played it on PS4 Pro. Nothing I really found that was that bad. But I know some players reported some issues in the PC version. I'm not sure if that's still a problem. Perhaps the game was already patched by now. But yeah, despite all that, Dishonored 2, awesome game. My third favorite game of the year. Moving on to the second place, Uncharted 4. And this was another big surprise for me, because while I do enjoy Uncharted series, I'm not a huge fan. I ended up loving Uncharted 4. I think it's a great action game, and but I mostly enjoyed the story, the pace of the story, how it was told. And I think a lot of that comes from having Neil Druckmann taking the series on. I mean, this was the guys that did The Last of Us. I think that really shows on the game, and I love it for that. I mean, having these little moments and actually gameplay moments, like the moment, without spoiling too much, but like the moments you have playing in Drake's house with the BB gun and stuff like that, or the Crash Bandicoot moment. I mean, these little touches that really had a lot to the experience, and I just love them. And on top of all that, you have, of course, the amazing set pieces, the beautiful graphics, and the great adventure. So I really loved Uncharted. It's undeniably a great game with great action, great writing, great pace, and I heard it also has a great online. I haven't played it, but for the campaign alone, I think it's worth it, and you should definitely check it out if you have a PlayStation 4. So, my favorite game of the year, what is it? It's Dark Souls 3. Yeah. Excuse me. I'm a From Software fan since the days of Demon Souls. Despite only having finished the Dark Souls, that's the only game from them I finished, Dark Souls 3 included. But I spent hours and hours playing Dark Souls 2. I think it was a return to form from Software, and they did a great job with Bloodborne, and having that transition to Dark Souls 3 was great. And I think the design is awesome. I think the characters play great. The bosses, the enemies, the levels, just an amazing experience, an amazing action RPG. I loved it. I think the scenery is great. It's perhaps, I think it also benefited from not being so punishing as the previous Dark Souls. It's still a punishing game. It's still a hard game, but I feel it was a little bit more forgiving, and in my opinion, that was a good thing. There's a line between being challenged, between being
Tis dark for now.
punishing, and between being frustrating. I think some of the Souls games sometimes ended up in being just frustrating and not really challenging, like having to run 5 minutes to meet the boss while you just avoid everything in the way. That's not fun, that's not challenging, it's just a waste of time in my opinion. And I think this one worked a bit better in that regard. So I love that it's, besides FIFA, I won't count that. Dark Souls 3 was the game I played the most this year, so I have to give it my favorite game of the year, and it's a farewell. According to From Software, this is the last Dark Souls 3, but I think it was a pretty good farewell, a pretty good goodbye from those guys, and I'm gonna miss Dark Souls. Perhaps we'll have more in the long run, but at least we got a pretty good game to end things up. So that's it. Inside, Doom, Dishonored 2, Uncharted 4, and Dark Souls 3. My 5 favorite games of this year.